Welcome back, everybody. It is the Roundtable, Season 1, Episode 5. It's our last one of the first semester of the 2021 school year. It's the Christmas edition, hence the hat. Ryan, how you doing? I'm here with Ryan Souders, and of course, always Jeff Febus is back with all the information you always wanted and maybe never needed. So, Ryan, what are you thinking?
Jim, looking festive tonight. I respect it. I'm not dressed in kind, but man, excited to be back at the round table. So hopefully, I guess my first question off the top: how did you have Kathy's mac and cheese? That's what I asked you last time. Did you?
Yes.
Did that make an appearance?
It did. It did. I had some turkey. It was great turkey. My wife did a wonderful 2-pound turkey. I won't tell you for CDC reasons how many people we had in the house, but the mac and cheese was outstanding. And my son would also testify to that as well. It has become a holiday tradition now. Boy, it's good stuff. It just supplements the turkey very, very well. I'm not a stuffing guy. I'm just not. So it takes the place of that. Surprisingly, I'm not a stuffing guy, right? I mean, that's really thinking.
It's not what I said, but it's an interesting, usually you think if you, you forego stuffing it some other kind of bread, but I mean, most people would probably choose mac and cheese. So
Yes.
Again, maybe not a traditional Thanksgiving staple, but glad that's working out of the Timmer household. So good to be back. Looking forward to the show tonight. Some great guests. I think it'll be a real good final 2020 edition before we move into the new year.
Awesome. Hey, so we have 3 topics. Last time we had 2. We have 3 topics off the top. If you've been with us before, Ryan and I usually talk about some things sport related, something to do with where we are in the season. And so off the top, our first topic is called holiday sports traditions. And I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan, first. Personal holiday sport traditions, those things that maybe were in your home. I'm not talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about the period of now to the new year. Some of the things that you did in your home, either your personal stuff or things you like to watch.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, obviously coming out as a fall sport athlete and now coach, for me, like winter and into holiday season is always classified or has always been classified by college basketball. I just feel like that's when it really kicks off. You start to get things like the Maui Invitational. You get the Big Ten. Used to be the grade 8 when I was growing up, actually went to that as a kid. So for me, college basketball is like huge in kind of Christmas season, holidays, post Thanksgiving. I still think of Thanksgiving as a fall sport, and college basketball moved me into the winter. I know others are, thinking playoff football or bowl games, college teams, so there's no bowl games there, and few playoff football matches to watch in my winter season. So how about yourself? When you think about your sport traditions, obviously as a basketball alum and coach, what are some of the things maybe that you have in your household or in your upbringing when you think about holidays, Christmas, New Year, and athletics?
I'm just the opposite of you, right? So you're a fall sport moving in. It always seemed like a fresh beginning. It's a new year. It seemed like, the days got shorter. You move inside. And actually, it was really funny for many, many years being a player and then coaching for 9 years in basketball. I didn't like Christmas break. It seemed like we were rolling, and then you'd have to have this big break. And the one nice thing for us was some of the trips we took. I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to California, Colorado, Rose Bowl parade, all with different basketball teams over the time. Phoenix with
those
our.
Those are some rough breaks, man. I mean,
Yeah. So
tough.
it was always. But I'll tell you one that was a staple for about 10 years of my life. We came home when I was coaching in Cleveland, and I would drive on Christmas night all the way back to Cleveland for a December 26th practice, a 10 o'clock practice we had every year at Baldwin Wallace. And as much as I dreaded that, I look back at those were good times and getting together with teammates and players, and we remember those trips. And so but the last holiday tradition is the Michigan in the bowl games, and it usually is a disappointing time for Michigan fans during the holidays. So
a lot of those .com bowls these days for the Wolverines. Yeah,
I can remember my parents letting me stay up to watch the Bluebonnet Bowl in the Houston Astrodome way back when, and I'm sure Jeff could figure out what that year was, but I seemed like a young kid because I know we didn't have a remote control yet. So
I'll tell you this, I actually played a soccer game in the Citrus Bowl about a decade ago now. One of the coolest experiences. And I can tell you we didn't fill it out, certainly like it had been, but you can imagine. So, man,
a lot of crowds are getting right now at the Citrus Bowl, right? That was about the crowd.
Yeah, it's probably about right. Also, I'm just realizing part of why you enjoyed that drive. So I've got 2 young kids. You had just spent all Christmas Day with them, Christmas Eve where they wouldn't go to sleep, hopped them up on sugar, said to your wife, and parents or in-laws, here you go. I'm back to practice. That had to be one of your favorite drives of the year.
Back to practice in 5 days in a warm spot. And I tell my wife, man, I'm working. Those are tough times. Hey, so the second topic I'm going to throw to you, it's a segment we're going to call Ask the AD. And since I'm the AD, I'm going to let Ryan ask me some questions that he has on his mind.
Jim, I appreciate that. Truth be told, I kind of thought you were going to run the Ask the AD segment. You just kind of ask yourself some questions and roll with it. But as we talked, I thought this would be a great segment. You'll see it come back and forth different times during the roundtable. Sometimes it'll be a bit more serious. Sometimes maybe forth. But tonight, just really want to start with a background, right? People kind of getting to know you, certainly as the athletic director here at Calvin. And maybe with some specifics. So really 3 major questions, I want to ask you tonight. The first is, what led you back to Calvin? You'd spent some time at Baldwin Wallace, got your PhD down in New Mexico, had kind of, begun to and had really established yourself in higher ed and as a coach in athletics at different institutions. So tell us about, what brought you back? Why back to Calvin?
It was really funny. Thank you for that question. I had actually interviewed the same time Amber Warner's interviewed. They were interviewing for a number of spots about 5 or 6 years prior to when I interviewed again. And we were set to retire in Cleveland. I love that. And I still stay in touch with those folks down there. But, ultimately, Ryan, it's what we've talked about, and not to get super serious here, but it is the institution. The institution meant so much to my family, with my dad and my grandfather and seminary and my mom and so many things and great memories at Calvin. And I love the mission of the place and felt like, what, if I can contribute in any small way to the experience of the student athletes that I had, and I could help them do that, I couldn't pass that up. And then you're drawn to, being closer to family. But honestly, we had overcome that. I mean, as a family, 4 hours away in Cleveland, 4.5 hours was not a bad drive. So while it was important, it wasn't the sole reason. It's the institution and the people around the place. And, it's a love-hate relationship. The closer you get to it, you can get frustrated with Calvin and then, and all that stuff that goes with it, but you love it through and through. So that's what drew me back here.
Cool. So next question for you. So as coaches, I think we can have kind of similar perspectives on things, right? I'm a winter coach or a men's coach, a women's. I think as the athletic director, right, we have one of those. I know you work with Dr. Meyer, our senior associate athletic director, but to hold your role, what would you say the goal of Calvin Athletics are? Some great memories, some successes, and then those things I think in an athletic department float to the top. Your role as AD, you say, okay, if we're, you just said if I can contribute in some small part. So for you to say as an AD, if our department is doing this or looks like this, what would you say is you want that to look like at Calvin?
So I always said I want us to have the best student athlete experience that we can possibly have. Student athletes. Now that comes out of, for me, understanding of where sport, I think, lies in the educational setting. And I think it is a great story. It is where you discover who you are, discover how to work with people. And I think the avenue of athletics allows students to grow. And it's a co-curricular activity. And so it is like learning to live on your own for the first time, cook for yourself for the own time, do your own checkbook for the first time. Athletics allows students to experience these things in a relatively safe, not important, but serious but not important aspect of their life that they really enjoy. And it allows us to hook into a lot of things: their faith, their development as a nursing or speech pathology or engineering. I think that kind of mixture, that for lack of a better word, that stew that you kind of make when you make a person, I think Calvin Athletics contributes to that. Now, having said that, we try to win. And I think without authentically trying to win, all those other things don't come apart, right? So if we're not trying to be the best we can be, if we're not trying to win that national championship, that league championship, then all that other stuff that I just described of growth and hooking into their faith and all that stuff is not done because we're authentically not chasing what sport's all about. And I think that's very almost reformed in the fact that it's part of God's creation in Square Ranch. So that's a rambling answer, but that's what drives me.
No, it's great. I mean, I think they work together, and I think it's good for us to hear kind of what you're seeing as an overarching view of it. Okay, last question. It is a 5-part question.
Oh boy.
So those listeners out there, Jim has not heard this question. He does not know. He has not prepared any answers for this question. So I wouldn't say it's rapid fire, but I'd like you to think quickly.
Yeah.
So you have, at least in my experience at Calvin, one of the few and rare distinctions, a life engagement with Calvin Athletics. As a context, so your favorite memory in Calvin Athletics as a kid, right? Your dad was a department chair, was a coach. What's your favorite Calvin memory as a kid?
Boy, I can remember going to the field house, watching us play Grand Valley in front of a bunch of people. I would never know how old I was, and I don't even remember if we won, but I remember thinking, I want a part of this. And I was little. And I could also remember that in that same hand, my mom always dressing us up for the Hope game because there were going to be important people there. So I had to dress up. I couldn't wear my sweatpants to the Hope game.
That's amazing. All right. So continuing right along, your favorite of an athlete?
No doubt. Beating Wittenberg to go to our first Final Four in our program history. The volleyball team had done that earlier, but 1990, Wittenberg was number one. My senior year, we beat them. Won't tell you what happened next game, but we did get to the Final Four.
Yeah, I know the stories after those wins, unfortunately, all too well as well. Okay, favorite memory as a coach, as a Calvin coach.
I coached Jim Dieters, and seeing him strike out 15 of the first 16 guys from Olivet. Jim was later drafted in the 7th round. Olivet was leading the league in hitting. We had 13 scouts there. Jim struck out 15 of the first 16, and the 16th guy dribbled one to the second baseman, and their team was just fired up. So that was a lot of fun. I was a great coach that day.
Yeah, that sounds like a good day as a manager. All right, next one. Favorite memory as an athletic director?
Oh, boy, that's like asking me to pick which kid I like the best. There's so many of them. Certainly, anytime you win a national championship, being with you on trips where
nice try. You get one. Your favorite single memory. I know you've got one that stands out.
Wow. I've never won a national championship live. I've never been there.
Jim, I did know that.
Oh no. I'm not going to give. I mean, Messiah with men's soccer was huge, but the day where Jeff described went to the first Final Four in men's soccer. Chris Nance with the PK. Our women were 300 meters away from a national championship, and our women's soccer, and that was a great day. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, then final one. Favorite memory as a Calvin dad?
Oh, Cal. I know this will sound cheesy. They've had, you see your kid in a Calvin uniform, it's pretty cool. All three of them. And Christian with JV soccer, and both my daughters with a Calvin uniform on me. Whatever they do after that. Me almost getting kicked out of a women's basketball scrimmage because I was yelling at the ref was probably the low moment, but that's
Is it good or bad one? But I guess we'll save that for the next time with Ask the AD. So awesome, Jim. Thanks so much. Obviously great to pick your brain a little bit. We'll certainly bring that segment back another time, but great one, I think, to finish the semester with.
Hey, we are just going to do a real quick last segment. It's called Goodbye 2020, Hello 2021. Anybody, McKenna, I see you're on the call as well. Anybody, I'm going to say goodbye to COVID 2020, hello normal life 2021. Has anybody got another one?
Well, Jim, you kind of took the. I think we break that down. Goodbye. Remote learning, and welcome, yes. Class. Goodbye. Social distancing. I think there's so many things that go with it. Good.
C Club Award. Madness.
For sure.
Open house hours, even though I'm not in the dorms anymore, right? Yeah. A daughter in college. I do like social distancing. I really do like that.
We're already there. Don't worry. We're setting boundaries now. Start them young.
Okay, well, hey, we're going to move on. It is our next segment called 5 Minutes with Febus. I know McKenna's hanging on for her interview. Jeff will be right with us, but In on Time, our sponsor for 5 Minutes with Febus, matching your requirements, your needs to our fleet and warehouses, gives you the flexibility you're looking for in our logistic provider. Unmatched service and reliability makes In on Time your complete logistics solution. The Minutes with Febus, I give Jeff a topic. We are going to play off the 12 days of Calvin Athletic Christmas. So it's 12 of these, 11 of those. And so, Jeff, take it away.
All right. I'm just going to read them from the first day all the way through the 12th. I'm not going to sing.
Okay. Thank you.
And I might just zip through them one more time at the very end. And we'll start out with the first one. And Jim actually kind of gave me the tip on this one. I think it's pretty appropriate. But on the first day of Calvin Christmas, we'll take one MIAA Men's Tennis Championship, which was a co-title in 2013. At that point, Kalamazoo had won at least a share of every league men's regular season. 36. So in 2013, Calvin got a share and only MIAA Men's first day of Calvin Athletics Christmas. On the second day of Calvin Athletics Christmas, we'll take two Jostens Trophy recipients in women's basketball, Winkle in 2007 and Carissa Verkuyk in 2013. For those of you that don't know, is given to a Division III women's basketball player based on academic, athletic, and in the community. It's kind of like that Heisman Trophy of Division III women's basketball. We've got two of those for our second Christmas. On the third day of Calvin Athletics Christmas, I'm going to say we'll take three Vector brothers in Calvin men's soccer, Tyler, Travis, and Trent, who from 2008 to 2018 led 5 trips to the NCAA Final Four and 4 trips to the national finals. And just for a quick little bonus, I'll throw out oldest sister Jessica, who also played a little women's soccer and some basketball. But we'll take the three Vector brothers on our third day of Calvin Athletics. Christmas, fourth day, we're going to take four camp sisters, Rebecca, Lizzie, Stacy, and Anna, who from 2008 to 2018, that same time, the Calvin women's volleyball to 11 MIAA titles, 7 Final Four trips, and 3 national championships. On the fifth day of Christmas, we'll take 5 swimming and diving championships under current head coach Dan Gelderloos. On the sixth day, we'll take our 6 NCAA Division III Elite 90 recipients, Melissa Osterhaus in women's tennis in 2011, Brad Wasink men's soccer 2011, Brett Stout men's swimming and diving 2015, John Admiral, another men's soccer recipient, that was 2015, Alyssa Skolton women's volleyball 2016, and most recently Ian Adams men's soccer 2019, and that goes to the individual with the highest GPA at the national championship competition at the finals. So we've had 6 of those for our 6th day of Calvin Athletics Christmas. On the 7th day, I had to search around a little bit, but we're going to go back to your 7 triples by Linda DeWeerd in Calvin softball 1986. That is still a Calvin softball single season. Number 8 on the 8th day, we're going to take the number 8 spot by Calvin on the current NCAA Division III list for most COSIDA academic All-American institutions with 139 academic All-Americans. Then on the 9th day, we're going to take 9 ground balls from 2014 and also from Emily Seferati in 2015 in women's lacrosse. Those happen in individual matches, and Calvin single game record in women's lacrosse. On the 10th day, we're going to take 10 women's soccer program history. 11 have to go with 11 NCAA Division III national titles in Calvin varsity athletics history. 4 in men's cross country, 3 in women's volleyball, and 2 each in women's cross country and men's basketball. And maybe my favorite, because he's my good friend, on the 12th day of Christmas, Todd Hennick, 3-point and a Calvin Thanksgiving tournament victory over Malone College in 1990. You were a student assistant coach.
Yes,
that still stands as a Calvin single game record, 12 out of 14 from 3-point land. So we'll just leave it right there. I won't go through them all. But
excellent, Jeff. That was good. That really good stuff.
My favorite 5 with Phoebes ever. Other than maybe a little jingle and, Phoebus singing, that was classic.
All right, good job, Jeff. Hey, let's pause here as we get McKenna all set. Okay, so we'll pause and we'll be back.
Okay, we're joined by Calvin Senior McKenna Smith of the women's golf team, and this interview tonight, as it always is with our student athletes, is brought to you by Lake Michigan Credit Union. Lake Michigan Credit Union has money to earn even more. Choose from CDs, health savings accounts, nationally recognized credit card, checking account, Money Magazine called the best in America. Earn more interest, more returns, and more rewards with Lake Michigan Credit Union. Well, McKenna, it's great to have you on the show tonight. You've probably seen me around the golf course taking photos, but this is probably the first time we've actually had a at-length discussion. But I know you're from Bridgman, and Bridgman's down southwest, if I can spit that out, the southwest part of Michigan. Just tell us a little bit about Bridgman. I know it's close to Lake Michigan. Did you grow up there your whole life, or is that a place that you kind of moved to recently? Tell us a little bit about.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. With you today. Bridgman is near and dear to my heart. Small community right on Lake Michigan. Beautiful sunsets and wonderful people there. Lived there all my life and learned how to golf there.
So, if I remember looking at the map, it's right near Warren Dunes State Park, which is one of the more famous state parks in the lower half of Michigan. I mean, you've probably been around Warren Dunes, I would guess.
Absolutely. The dunes are so fun.
So where did you grow up playing golf? Like what course or courses? How did you sport?
Yeah, so my dad taught me when I was in high school. We played at Pebblewood Country Clubhouse and had a wonderful high school team and just lucky enough to continue into college.
So what led you to choose Calvin, now university, probably Calvin College when you first chose it? What attracted you to about the institution, and what kind of sealed the deal for final decision?
Yes, I really, really enjoyed the fact that Calvin's the Christian learning community. The academics are what drew me to Calvin, the challenge. I'm in Spanish double major, so both great programs and had wonderful opportunities for me here. What sealed the deal was that I was able to play college golf. I was very excited about it, and all 4 years I've been able to do that. I've really learned a lot.
So let's stick on the academic side first. What do you biochem and Spanish double major there after you're done graduated?
I'm really interested in laboratory, doing some research and development somewhere. Not sure yet how the Spanish is going to fit into all of that, but really hopeful and looking forward to what for me.
Now, usually when you have a language major at Calvin, you're required to spend a semester abroad. That happened for you? Has that changed a little bit with the whole pandemic? Just tell us about that.
Yes, I studied abroad in Honduras for the spring semester. So luckily, before the pandemic hit, and it really just enhanced my knowledge and understanding as a Christian in the worldwide setting.
So let's move it over to golf. 4 years of the Calvin women's, and I guess just from what's been your experience playing for the Knights.
It's been a different dynamic as come into the team, and learning and growing with all Knights is an opportunity. And we've had the highs and the lows, and for all of it, we've just come together to become and support each other.
So let's talk a little bit about this year, at least this fall. You were able to have a season. What was it like to have a season when a lot of able to compete? How important was that to help you through your academic side, just to have an outlet to, be with your teammates, to play, to compete? Just what was your experience like with that?
We were so grateful to have a fall season because our spring season got canceled with COVID. All summer, we were just itchy to compete and bring it. And so the great weather was, number one. We had overall team improved so much. We were just so ready to play and thankful that we could. Worked so hard each and every day at practice too. So, it wasn't the normal season, but it was somewhat normal, and we were, very lucky to have that.
Yeah, just looking at the results here, I've got them up in front of me, and I know you were in the lineup for the most part throughout the season. A couple of first place performances. You edged Cornerstone in the Battle of the Beltline by a stroke. That was kind of fun. I was there that day at Railside. Took first place at the Adrian Invitational, second at the NCAA Preview that Olivet hosted over at Michigan State University. And then you got to play at your own Calvin Invitational at the Thornapple Point Golf Club, where you guys took third. Like you said, you guys really improved this year. You do have you had a freshman this year, Chandler Schertzma, who kind of stepped up into that number one spot. So I guess my question is, you as a senior, do you help out a freshman even though they might have some talent? Do you tell them a little bit about what to expect on certain courses, especially when they haven't played some of these courses? How do you lead as a senior?
Absolutely. And with all of our new freshmen, we just were very excited for all of them as a team. We celebrate the wins, individual and team wins. So I'll do anything I can to help a freshman. She's from California, so has never really played in the Michigan temperatures. And so, you give her the layouts, everything about a golf course that you can mention to somebody before a round. And she's worked super hard as a team. We were all so driven And I think that's what really helped her adapt. And hopefully we can work together and pull out some wins in the spring season.
So what about, let's touch on your golf game quickly a minute. What would you say is probably the strength of your game, and what's maybe the part that's a little weaker in the area that you're still trying to improve the most?
Absolutely. Well, the area I'm trying to improve most is with my distance. I can usually hit the ball pretty straight and really consistent, but I'm still lacking a little distance. I'm a little shorter than the other girls, so that's always the thing I'm working on. My short game is pretty good and consistent, so another thing that's going well.
Favorite club in the tool bag or in the golf bag, so to speak?
My favorite club is my TaylorMade 5 wood. It's very consistent and just my go-to.
So kind of a wrap-up question then. We're kind of optimistically anticipating a spring season, which would bring MIAA competition. How do you feel that the fall has set your team up for competing in the spring?
Well, we've done very well, and we want to continue that momentum as we're going into the spring. So a lot is still up in the air, but we're hoping to get back together this February in our indoor hitting bays and work on everything possible so that we're ready to go and compete for these matches in the spring.
That sounds great. Well, I'd love to see it. I know you guys would like to see it too. We want to thank you for being our student athlete interview here, brought to you by the Lake Michigan Credit Union. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Jim Timmer here to kind of ask you some rapid fire questions here. So let's turn it over to Dr. Timmer.
Great, thanks.
All right, McKenna, every student athlete has to spend 24 seconds answering 7 questions. We call it 24/7 with Timmer. And we start out with easy ones. Some are multiple choice, short answer. We'll be done in just a second. Ready?
Yes.
All right. Favorite color?
Lavender.
All right. All right. Multiple choice question. Country, pop, rap, or other?
Pop.
All right. What's your Netflix guilty pleasure show?
Oh, The Good Place.
Okay. Kristen Bell, right?
Yes.
Ted Danson. Favorite course at Calvin?
Ooh, Thornapple Point home course.
No, that was the next question. The favorite class you've taken?
Oh, class. My biochemistry class.
I like Thornapple Point. I don't like biochemistry, so I appreciate that you do. Favorite food?
Fruit.
McKenna, other than golf, you and I have absolutely zero in common. I'll tell you that right now. And finally, would you rather have family Christmas or be rocking it on New Year's Eve?
Family Christmas.
All right, great. Hey, thanks, McKenna, for being answering 7 questions in 24 seconds. Have a great night and good luck to women's golf and McKenna Smith. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Well, our next segment here on the podcast is our coach interview. Our coach interview is brought to you by Vredevoogd Heating and Cooling. And Vredevoogd Heating and Cooling has served West Michigan for 54 years. They are a leading heating and cooling contractor and the best choice for your home. They install quality systems and back them up with guarantees to protect your investment. Contact us today for a free estimate at www.vredevoogd.com. Coach Warners, welcome to the show. And for those who are watching the show, not listening to the show, I am not in the same garb as same clothes as I am on the other segments. That's a little technical difficulties in our recording of our interview with Amber, and she has graciously agreed to be with us in the afternoon here, and we will drop it in the show where appropriate. So again, thanks for making time again, Amber, and how you doing?
I'm doing great. Having a great day.
Having a great day. We're headed towards Christmas really quickly. Our semester is rolling to an end, it's going to be a different Christmas. Explain to me a little bit about how different it was for you this year in the fall, Amber.
Oh, yeah, it was unlike any other fall I've ever experienced. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, it was really tough. I think the toughest part for me was, well, there are two things. The first one is planning for your day and going into the day, and at any minute getting an email, a phone call, or somebody stopping in your office, and everything changes, whether it's canceling practice to somebody being sick. That was just hard to adjust to because, and I think on the back end of all of this, whenever that is, I think that's going to be a huge positive for me to realize that plans change. But the hardest thing for our team anyway, I don't know how other teams felt, was we just didn't get any of the things that we could do that make our program so special. We couldn't do them. So I can tell you, I don't even really know the freshmen that well as people. I know them pretty well as players, but we've always been a program that's been people first. So we haven't had time in the dorms for preseason to get to know one another or have the thousands of little conversations. We didn't get to go on a retreat. So we got to practice, which was great, and we'll take that. That's way better than nothing. But to practice with a group of people that you haven't had the intense, real, vulnerable bonding time, it really felt like something was lacking. And I think every one of our players would tell you that too.
Yeah, and we walked with you through that, and it's been such a large part of our fall community at Calvin is your volleyball program. We don't have a football program. We have very successful fall programs, but it's something our community kind of rallies around. And, congratulations that you've provided that for us. And it's been hard to be the bearer of bad news to the coaches, and I'm sure you having to be the bearer of bad news to the athletes, because it seems like just so we get rolling, then I come down and say to you, hey, this person had tested positive, or hey, we're going to have to suspend that. So yeah, I'm sick of delivering bad news. I bet you're in the same spot with your team.
Yeah, it's a real balance of telling them what it's going to how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, trying to be upbeat and positive about things that we might be doing in the future, but knowing that everything is on this rolling scale where anything could get pulled back at any time.
Yeah, we've just learned to hold on very loosely and lightly to things that we used to grab on to our as the anchors. We used to anchor ourselves to certain weekends or certain competitions or certain rhythms that we get into. And I know you being in coaching so long, those kind of that ebb and flow of that year, all the way from your spring practice, which you guys got in. You were one of the few teams that got in. But then the summer camps, the recruiting, it just been, you feel off kilter, and we're looking forward to getting back to that time. Hey, I want to get back to what you said earlier about your program is more about those little conversations, but I want to throw some numbers out for our listeners, and you'll probably be embarrassed by this, but there's a question at the end of it. Okay. So I have some numbers here. A lot of you people know that you've had 3 national championships at Calvin, which is outstanding, and they've been all in the last 10 years. And I'm just kind of thinking about the last 10 years. To me, I see 3 as another number that's the number of league losses you've had since we moved into Vernord Arena. So it's been quite a home court advantage for us in the league. 10 straight, and this is amazing, 10 straight Sweet 16 appearances. And in those Sweet 16 appearances, you're 8-2. That means you've been to the Elite 8 or further 8 of the last 10 years. And you can probably remember the 2 regional losses, but incredible number. Average 30 wins and 4.7 losses over the last, since your time here at Calvin. That's, for folks at home, that's averaging more wins than you're allowed to schedule, which is always a really funny statistic. I know a few coaches are like that. Amber's one of them. And then 4-time National Coach of the Year. Now, It's so fun. We can do so much with numbers, and I'm here to tell people, as your friend and as the director of athletics, you probably care least about numbers than any coach I've ever met. Now, I mean, you care about hitting percentages and how your team's doing, but you don't know your own numbers. And the question is two parts. One, where did you get that from? That you really don't care about those numbers? I know you care about winning and losing, but you don't care about these crazy career numbers. And how does that infiltrate it into your coaching? So where do you think you got that from, the not caring about numbers? Your parents?
I don't know. I think I have my work ethic from my dad. He's always been a driven person. For me, I think it's, what good is it to dwell on those things, right? Is it going to give me a bigger ego about myself? Or is it going to actually make me feel like, how am I ever going to live up to that? So I think for me, all of those things are built around all the incredible memories, including the devastating memories, the negative ones. And that's what I think about a lot. So doing a tournament run or winning a lot is really fun to experience. But for me, it's our players' experiences that I get to watch, because that's always changing, right? You always have people leaving. So I just focus on them, right? What can I do to help them be the best women they can be on the court and off the court? And that is, to me, the measuring stick.
Yeah. Do you throw out your resume when you're recruiting, or do you sell the other parts of your program?
I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure. I maybe every once in a while, I don't even talk about the success of our program. I don't think I ever even say, well, this is what we've done in the last 10 years. Maybe that's something I should do, but it's not who we are. And I think even the individual awards, right? The All-Americans, the National Players of the Year, to be really honest with you, nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
2 weeks after it happens. Why should we? Those are great honors.
Yeah.
Awesome to accomplish, right? We celebrate them, but superficial.
Yeah. We grew up with similar parents. I think your mom and my dad were even colleagues or classmates at some point, and we both been in athletics a long time. And I remember my dad telling me, let somebody else tell you how good you are, right? You don't have to, in sport in particular, right? So as a director of athletics, I get to talk about all those crazy numbers and what you have accomplished. But I think you've remained focused on who you are and what the program's supposed to be. So I think that comes from our grounding in your parents and in your upbringing. I got a kind of a crazy question. I don't think you get asked a lot. I've seen you get interviewed a ton. I've seen you speak publicly a ton. It's been an honor to me for me to do that. When did you fall in love with volleyball? Like I'm a basketball guy. I love basketball. And when did you fall in love with volleyball? Because I mean, to do it this long with this many student athletes, you have to love it. But the game itself, what do you like about it, and when did you fall in love with it?
Early on, right? I played it. Volleyball is kind of a late sport for girls to get into, or boys and girls to get into, because it's hard. It's hard to play it when you're really young.
It's really ugly to watch middle school volleyball. I'll be honest with you. I watched it.
Yeah, right. So I think when I got 7th, 8th grade, and I realized if you really think about it, to try to keep a ball off the ground and do it in such a way where you can hit it really hard at a downward angle to the other side, that's beautiful. Like, that is art. That's crazy to think about what you can do with a ball. So between that and the team aspect, where it truly doesn't matter how good a person is, you really need your other teammates. You will never spike the ball.
Yep.
If you don't have a pass or a set. Very different than a lot of sports. So that and all within a tiny little playing area, right? So that's where my passion comes in about getting people, helping people to become more than they ever thought possible, and doing it in such a way psychologically, because there's so much sports psychology within that 30 by 30 foot area that you can't get away from each other. And so my first experience of coaching anyway was I was 18 years old, a freshman at Calvin. I coached JV volleyball at Grand Rapids Christian. And I had this incredible experience of getting 15-year-olds to believe in themselves and to do something. It felt to me, that was the psychology part where I'm like, dealing with people and how they do things and reading people is I feel like is a gift I have. And I screw up on it all the time, but that God has given me that gift. So yes, it is about the volleyball. I love the sport, but hands down, it's about the women for me. If it's another sport, I'm okay with that. But volleyball is the sport I like the most, but it's about the women.
So, yeah, I mean, for me, I have come to love volleyball differently, right? As an athletic director, and I really love the rule changes. You know, when it went to, we're old enough to remember when it wasn't side out scoring, and
Yeah.
but I'm shocked at the amount of. I was a terrible free throw shooter. I didn't like it when I was standing still, and I always think about that with serving a volleyball. But there is this thing in volleyball. There's pressure. There's individual pressure in a collective environment where when you hit it in the net, everybody in the crowd goes, oh, that girl just hit it in the net, or that woman just hit it in the net. In basketball, I can screw up defensively, and the average person doesn't see that. You know, like the coach does, but the crowd doesn't. How do you talk to your women about handling those moments? And you know, I get it. For you, the point at Olivet on September 18 is just as important as the national championship point. You try to do that, but how do you talk to them about handling that? And particularly at Calvin Volleyball, where there's people in the stands, and when you hit one long and it's served, you hear this big groan from the crowd, and I always feel bad for the woman who hit it into the net. How do you get to them?
Well, we do a lot of different sports psychology things. So to answer that question in 30 seconds is almost impossible. But one, I think there are two concepts. One is keep yourself in the present moment and not think about what ifs or crowd noises. And you really focus in, and we train that. Then hopefully they're not going to feel any pressure at all, right? Maybe they feel it before the match or after the match. But when they're in the middle of it, they should be like a machine doing their thing because they've prepared, they've been trained. But the other thing is really, it comes down to a person has a choice to believe in themselves if they think they can do it or not. That's very innate. That's hard to change. But we try to change that all the time to allow them the freedom to go, why not me? Right? And to go, I'm really, really good. So we try to put them in all different situations in practice, especially for the serving, which is to me the most pressure situation. Yeah. A lot of times we'll have players that will hot potato it. Like they just want to get it out of their hands as quick as possible. And that's just the absolute wrong thing to do. They need to embrace those 5 seconds and go, everybody look at me because I'm going to do this. But that's one of the incredible challenges of the sport of volleyball.
Well, I yeah, and like you said, you could talk forever on that topic. It's for all sports, and you're a parent of athletes too. I want to give the audience just a couple quick stories of your and I's relationship and some of the moments that I think would be really interesting for our listeners. And one is this: I remember greeting your team coming home from WashU on a Monday night. You had won the national championship, and I think you guys got home like 3-4 in the morning. I was not there. Dr. Meyer was there with your team. I was with another team, probably soccer at that moment. And I remember you saying to me, and maybe you don't even remember this, is like, I said, what does it feel like? Because I've never won a national championship. And you said, you were so sick of coming close. You said that to me that night. Like going back to your coaching at Holland Christian, you're like, yeah, we're close. And was it just weird getting over getting to the mountaintop? And how did that feel? Just
Yeah. I've always felt like up to that point, I was destined to always be second.
And deal with it.
And deal with it, right? Maybe I wasn't worthy of being a part of a team or experience that won it all. And I never dreamed I would ever be a part of that. So it's really hard to describe, other than the fact that I think what drove me was I just didn't want to be second anymore. So whatever it's going to take to try to push us, and knowing you have to have some luck, right? You have to have all the conditions be pulling your way.
Yeah.
But when that ball hit the floor, it's just, to me, it was this incredible relief and going and thinking, this is going to last forever because we did it, and it will always be in the books that we did it. And to not have a loss at the end of your season
is weird,
and it's incredible. And then the first thing you think of is, can't we try to go all world?
Yeah. Like who else?
Not United States. I want all world, right? Can't we go overseas now? Because let's try to prove, because you just don't want it to end. You don't want it to end.
Yeah. That bond of those women and that coaching staff from that first one and all of the championships are amazing. I'll give another one that I have grown to know your program a little bit. And you and I have been like friends since we were 18 years old. So another one was down at Illinois Wesleyan. We had, I think, 2017, 2015, we had hosted the national championship, and we had a really nice team. And we lost at Carthage at home. And, I felt horrible thinking, we were the host, and we were building all this up. And the next weekend we didn't have anybody from Calvin. And we thought, boy, we'd be in the national championship. 2017, we traveled to Illinois Wesleyan, and I thought we got the worst first round choice ever. We win that one in 5 sets. Now we're playing Illinois Wesleyan, I think, on the home court, right? Who are we playing in the finals? In the region.
Finals.
Carthage in the finals again. And we are down 14-9, I think, or something.
Yeah, that was it was the quarterfinal match against WashU.
Yes.
First opening match.
Right. And I'm thinking, we're not going to go back. We're going to fail getting to the nationals again. And then when you won that one, you and I kind of looked at each other, and I was like, I just kind of remember thinking to you, thank you, Amber, for getting your team to the finals, because I had all these people ready to work again. And I'm thinking, boy, we're in a 5-setter in the first round. We're in a 5-setter in the regional final as well. To me, that was did you feel pressure when we hosted to get there?
I felt pressure. I felt like we could not let people down who did all of the extra work. It was terrible. That's why in 2015, when I had my team help pick up the floor after the national championship.
Oh, yeah.
People thought I was so mean and cruel. But part of it was, it's not going to take away the bitterness of losing, but it's only going to help people that have given hours and hours and hours to make this possible, even though we weren't there. So when we won regionals in 2017, Illinois Wesleyan, more relieved for our support staff that it would be way more fun for them to go through all that work knowing we'd be there than anything else. And after that, I'm like, I never want to host a championship ever again.
Well, somebody said, what was your favorite volleyball memory? And I'm like, God, national championships are cool. But when they got to the finals, when they got back to us in 2017, because boy, I had to ask a lot of people to work. And I didn't want to ever say that to you while you were going through it, but I remember thinking that. Hey, go ahead.
Well, I just remember that last match. You were pacing
oh man
up above, and right when we won, we locked eyes. going, oh my goodness, thank you.
Yes. And I just like, I don't watch most. If you get in a fifth set, which you don't get in a lot, I have made a rule. I don't watch those. I've watched many Hope Calvin volleyball matches in the Vennord Arena lobby, listening to the crowd to see if we're going to win or not. And then I come in all cool and calm and collected afterwards. But
well, sometimes I would like to do that too.
Yeah. I do that with a lot of our teams. I hate the last out in baseball. I hate the last 2 minutes in basketball because I can't really control it. All right, we got a few minutes to go. We got to get some personal stuff in here. You know what? What's harder, parenting 4 or 3 boys or coaching 15 women a fall?
I'd probably say the 20 women, but parenting is the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
There's no manual. Everybody's different. I always go in the balance. My biggest struggle is the balance of giving freedom as they get older and trusting to pulling back the reins to go, wait a second, you're not an adult yet, right? That balance of too much, too little, and I don't know the answer.
It's crazy. My wife and I were talking the other day, and we have 3 children as well. And you know, everything else in the world goes away, but our legacy will be through our children. And parenting's hard, and I just pray for them every day. And it is really hard. And you know, the funny thing about your kids, they don't care if you've won a volleyball game or lost. You're just mom. You know, it's like hey.
The highlight of my boys' fall is November because they've known mom is gone. Yeah. And that means Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah. A lot. Exactly. Like I always tell like my kids when I'm arguing, I'm like, man, but I'm a professional. I know how to, do this. And they're like, yeah, Dad, you're still wrong. And it's great. It's humbling for sure. So let the audience know this, right? So when Dr. Amber Warners is not thinking about volleyball or her family, and she needs to get away, are you reading a book? Are you fishing? Which is, I know, one of the things you like to do. Are you painting? What is Amber doing when she's not parenting or coaching volleyball, which leaves about 2 minutes a day? But what are you doing?
Well, first of all, I'm either going through the rooms in the house to declutter because I don't have time during the year, or I'm cooking meals because I don't get to do that very well. I love to cook. Yeah. Vacations, I love to get somewhere warm, and we love to fish. So we go to the Keys every year, and we have friends that have a place down there, and we either rent a boat and we go mahi fishing, and it is a slice of heaven.
Yeah. You get away from everything. You don't think about it for sure. Well, Amber, we have taken enough of your time, and I really appreciate it. I know it's taken us a while, and I think you're kind of emotionally ready to talk after our first 4 or 5 episodes. So I really appreciate it. And again, our deep gratitude to you to doing it twice. And again, to our sponsor, Vanderbilt Heating and Cooling, who sponsors our coach interview. So Amber, have a great Christmas, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, we're back with our final segment here on episode 5, season 1 of the Roundtable. I want to personally thank our guests, McKenna and Amber, Dr. Warners, for their contributions to today's show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. We're going to get it set for the holidays. And as we go around, we're going to go around the round table with our final thoughts. We're going to start with Mr. Febus. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I just think that interview with Coach Warners was great, very telling, kind of hit home to me in the respect that, I'm kind of a parent of boys at home. So raising them sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge, but during this COVID time, it's a real blessing to have them around. And, being a parent sometimes can be a little stressful when they're out in athletics, but at the same time, just having the chance and the opportunity to watch them is great. And I'd say the other thing that just kind of jumped out, it was a lot of fun to do that 12 days of Christmas, and just how blessed we've had with a rich tradition of Calvin athletics history, a lot of fun. a lot of great names, a lot of great programs, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And just want to wish everyone a happy and blessed and Merry Christmas time, even though it's a little bit of a different Christmas this year.
Ryan.
Yeah, it's good stuff, Jeff. I got two quick thoughts kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. One in hearing the three of you talk tonight, you have the unique distinction, Dr. Timmer, Jeff, and Amber of being Calvin alums. And I think just feeling really fortunate to be grafted into that. I think this is a special place. And I think getting to hear the three of you talk about that as students, as people involved in the athletic department, as current parents or, maybe future parents of Calvin students, I think it's just special. And I think just in a time where things are confusing and you feel like, it's a little bit dark, both with winter and not really future is, just to be reminded Calvin's a great place with great people. That's number one. Second, on the other end of the spectrum, we film these podcasts on Monday night, and I'd be remiss if I just didn't say the Bears suck. It's killing me. Like, for my sake, we got to win 2 games a year as a guy living in Michigan, and it's the Lions, and you're up 10 with 2 minutes left, and you blow it, and we suck. And those are my final thoughts, Jim. I'm hoping for continued excellence with Calvin and the community in 2021, and I'm hoping for a new quarterback and a new coaching staff with the Chicago Bears in 2021.
They had been 5 Bear wins in a row over the Lions. I have to say
that. Well, I'll tell you what, it made my son's day very much when the Lions came back and win. Well, my final thoughts, I maybe it's our age. Amber and I maybe get a little bit more emotional. I'll try not to stay emotional. This time of year, when it is dark outside, in the morning when you wake up and dark about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, you really realize in this time it's people. Ryan already touched on it, and it's the people that I get to interact with in my job and in my life. And so it's family, it's Calvin, it's the community that we have here in West Michigan. So as we go into the Christmas holiday season, I hope that people realize that it is that is more important than anything else. The people that they surround themselves with and the people that they interact with, because that kind of keeps us going. And then from the show, you know what? Whenever I get down, and sometimes I get down more now with athletics being paused, we have someone like McKenna jump on the show. And she is so excited to be at Calvin, so excited to golf.
I loved it when you said, "What's your favorite course?" And she just busted out the course.
I said that the other day when we had Mark Chris on. If nothing else, the podcast for me, just when I think I can't take this anymore, we have a coach or an athlete on that I think I can take some of their energy and go for another 2 weeks. And we're going to have some holiday greetings from our athletic programs throughout this show when Christian gets it all edited and put out, and it goes back to my theme: people, and that's what it's all about. So McKenna's smile was infectious. Her enthusiasm for Calvin and for our athletic program. I think the women's golf team toils in kind of obscurity, and to see their love for our athletic program when no one else is paying attention is really what it's all about for me. So, gentlemen, it was another great show. Christian, thank you for your work back at the studio. We are going to come back to you in 2020 or 2021 with our next show in January. I appreciate everybody. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. We're out.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our trouble will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our trouble will be miles away.
2, 3, go.
Oh, hello. Calvin Women's Soccer here. We're just enjoying a nice family fireside chat. We hope you're having a great holiday season.
From our family to yours, we just wanted to wish you happy holidays and a very
Merry Christmas.
In honor of this pre-Christmas podcast, I want to show Coach Souders that this old man still has vertical leap. Merry Christmas from Coach Saul and Calvin Basketball. We hope to see you in the coming year, and go Knights.
Merry Christmas from Women's Basketball to Night Nation. Stay safe and we'll see you soon.
Hi everyone, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas from Women's Basketball to Night Nation. I hope you guys all stay safe and we will see you guys soon.